Hi guys, welcome to another Hunter video. I am a Night Elf Hunter on the Whisperwind server, and here I am in normal Nexus, and I'm gonna solo this instance. Now for this instance I have three different types of buffs. A Guru's Elixir, which increases my stats by 20. I have a food buff, which increases stamina by 40 as well as attack power by 80. A pet food buff, which increases strength and stamina by 30. As well as I use a different build or different pet build compared to my last video soloing Utgard Keep, and you can find all the information to this run to the sidebar. And so with this first area, it's not necessary for you to kill this boss, but I just do anyways. So I turn left, and the order you should kill them is the healer, then the berserker, and lastly the archer. And whenever you can, try to tranquilize shot anyone who has a buff on them, because it'll save your pet some extra damage. And now we're on to the next area. For here I just set my pet to passive and then to stay, and I used the misdirect and got all the enemies, the 4 enemies within the boss room, to attack my pet. So there's no chance to pull the boss while I'm fighting them. And so I start fighting the boss. You have to try to time your cooldowns so that you don't activate it once you're in that little flying phase where she throws you around, because in that phase you're not doing as much damage as you could be, because you're flying around and you can't really cast. And so when she splits into 3, just try to take them out. I took out the blue one last because it casts Blizzard and I have very high frost resistance. So it's pretty simple as long as you mind your health and mind your pet's health. And now we're on to the Rift. Now here at the Rift you want to try to kill the casters first, because the casters heal, and you always want to kill the healers first. And as much as I can, I try to CC the casters if there's more than one, because they are ranged and you want to take them out so that they don't heal the enemies that you're fighting. And now with these chaotic rifts, before you were able to just stand at max range and kill them, but that's no longer possible, because when you start shooting them, other enemies around it will come and start fighting you too. So what you have to do is send your pet off and tank them all. And then with these mana fiends, or these mana guys, they'll actually sap your mana, and I had to let my pet die in feign death because I didn't have enough mana to pet him. And now we're anomalous, and what I do here is use only my DPS gear. I still have my Spec for pet tanking, however I'm using DPS gear because he will open chaotic rifts, and you need to kill these rifts as fast as you can because they damage you like you see right now, as well as they will create other mobs that will start shooting you guys, and you want to take down as much of those as possible. And this boss is pretty easy. He doesn't do too much damage, so as long as you keep your men pet up, your pet doesn't really have a chance to die. And now we're to the next area, the Singing Grove. With this area, there are mobs that cast Tranquility, and you want to interrupt that cast as well as kill them at the same time, or as quickly as possible. And we're at Oromuk. I can't say his name, the Tree Shaper. He's basically very easy, simply killed. All you have to do is avoid the spikes that come out of the ground, as well as keep med pet up at all times to make sure your pet has aggro. You have to remember to put back on your pet tanking set so that you're not in your DPS set, because in this area you definitely will need as much stamina as possible. So here we are at Karastraza. And there are a few things you need to know. First thing is pet management. This is going to be very important because without your pet you have no tank and you're as good as dead. So I set my passive right beside my attack buttons, and I'm going to use a keybind to set my attack to shift 1 and my passive to shift 2. Now this could be any kind of keybinding that you want, but this works for me. So what I do is send my pet off to attack, and then once it attacks it'll stay still. However, once it stays still it'll start getting a debuff, and once this debuff builds without moving it'll do more and more damage. So I send it off to attack, and then I press passive to start my pet to move, and then once the debuff is gone I send my pet to attack again. However, when that happens, Karastraza will be faced to you, and so what you want to do is run around to her side, because you don't want to be to the front or to the back of her because of her tail swipe and another attack that she does. So most of your damage will actually just be auto shot and the occasional multi and arcane shot. Make sure you have men pet up at all times. Also, whenever she casts Crystal Chain on you, then you need to either cast Bestial Wrath to get out of it, or you cast Master's Call to break out of it, and that will also make your pet move to get rid of the debuff as well. Another trick that I have is when your pet is low on health, you use Distracting Shot about 20, 25 to 30 yards away from her. Once you cast it, she will chase after you for 6 seconds, then turn around and run, so that she doesn't do damage, but at the same time have men pet so your pet can heal. And so after about 20% she will go into a frenzy, and so right now I just cast Distracting Shot to give my pet some breathing room, and I also used the Last Stand so to give my pet some extra health. And then once she starts to go into that phase, make sure you pop all your cooldowns. Try to use Kill Shot as much as you can, because that will take down her health by a lot, and most likely your pet is going to die. Also, don't forget to move him so that he doesn't get the debuff as well. And it was a double KO here. Now I'm going to rewind it a little bit to show you what exactly happened. So I used my potion, a health potion, so I don't have any more mana potions, and I'm out of mana, and I have very low health, and Karastraza has 96 HP left. And since I was in melee range, I couldn't shoot as fast, so in the end it was just a double KO because there's nothing I could do other than just auto attack, and basically she killed me with a shot and I killed her. So I'll still take that over a complete death. So now I'll just run back and collect my loot. And so soloing Nexus was a success. So now I'm gonna have to look for more instances to solo, and the next one I'm most likely gonna run is the Old Kingdom. However, I never really liked Old Kingdom because it is just so tough to beat, and I'm gonna see how that goes. Whether it's a success or failure, I'm gonna post a video and just show you guys. So, thanks for watching, take care, and till next time.